Spider-Man Far From Home opened up to some large numbers in the Chinese market, and before it was launched in the US domestic market on Tuesday, there were already some reports claiming it might have as much as $500 million by Sunday. Well, the official Sunday numbers are out, and it has overdone this $500 million. It's got a reported $580 million. So what sort of records has this film made, if any, on the way here? Where does it line up with everything else? What does $580 million mean on a Sunday? And maybe more importantly for this film, what does $580 million mean for its sixth day because of its abnormal release time? Here we have the six-day records in the US domestic market. We don't have Spider-Man Far From Home in the top 10. Avengers Endgame got $452 million in its first 6 days. We have to scroll all the way down to number 23 to find where Spider-Man Far From Home sits in the US market after 6 days. $185 million, a little bit ahead of Fury 7, a little bit behind Captain Marvel. Now, what will probably happen is on the 7th day records, that'll be Spider-Man Far From Home's Monday, whereas it'll be Fury 7 and Captain Marvel's Thursdays. And so Spider-Man Far From Home will probably out-earn them there, and Spider-Man Far From Home will move up to number 22, the 22nd biggest film after 7 days in the US market. But on day number 8, that'll completely reverse, because day number 8 for Spider-Man Far From Home is a Tuesday, so it won't get anything special there. But day number 8 for Fury 7 and for Captain Marvel and pretty much all the other movies here, in fact all of them except for Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, that'll be a Friday. And so they'll earn far more money and move in front of it. So Spider-Man Far From Home will move down this list on its 8th day because of its abnormal launching on a Tuesday in the US domestic market. The Tuesday launch for Spider-Man Far From Home made it $39 million. That was more than the $35 million which The Amazing Spider-Man had earned to be the biggest opening Tuesday ever. And Star Wars The Force Awakens had the most amount of money for a Tuesday ever, even though it didn't open on Tuesday. And so Spider-Man Far From Home beat both of those any way you want to look at it, well, except for inflation, but not looking at inflation. Spider-Man Far From Home, biggest Tuesday ever in the US domestic market. On the Wednesday, Spider-Man Far From Home has an estimated $27 million. It is estimated right now because the day afterwards, where they tally up all the figures, was July 4th, but $27 million is being reported by multiple sources, so that's a good figure to use right now. As it stands, that is the 4th biggest Wednesday ever, a little bit more money than Avengers Endgame, perhaps surprising, even though it was just released the day beforehand. Endgame did earn a large amount of money. The actual record still held by Star Wars Force Awakens, $38 million, nothing really close to that. Transformers was also launched on a Tuesday, and so it was beaten by Spider-Man Far From Home on the Tuesday, but it has beaten Spider-Man Far From Home at this stage anyway, with this estimated $27 million. Transformers has beaten Spider-Man on the Wednesday. And then number 3, Star Wars The Force Awakens again, it just earned a crazy amount of money. And the last main record to look at here is the opening weekend amount of money for a film that didn't have a Friday start. The record's currently held by Transformers Revenge of the Fallen for $108 million, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith and Shrek 2 also on $108 million. Spider-Man Far From Home, number 6, got $93.6 million estimated right now for the actual weekend. So no record there for Spider-Man Far From Home, but it is the only film here on this list with a Tuesday start in the top 10. So all the other films here have a Wednesday and a Thursday start, which means they had 1 or 2 days less for people to see the movie before the Friday and Saturday and Sunday, which means you should get more money on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So best opening weekend for a Tuesday start, I suppose we could say that that's a record for Spider-Man, getting a little bit specific there to call that a record, but number 6, best opening weekend for a non-traditional Friday start. On this chart here, we have Spider-Man Homecoming in the blue, Spider-Man Far From Home in the yellow, and I put Batman v Superman on here in the red, just as an example of a movie that had a huge opening weekend and then collapsed at the box office, and it also earned around about the same kind of money as Spider-Man Homecoming. So we can see the yellow line started off underneath the blue line because we were comparing a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But now that Spider-Man Far From Home has also had a weekend, it's clearly in front of the blue line. But what might end up happening is, because we're comparing different days, as Spider-Man Homecoming comes into its next weekend, that'll be Spider-Man Far From Home's weekdays, and the blue line will move up compared to the yellow line and may cross over the top of it. Then vice versa will happen. We'll get another weekend for Spider-Man Far From Home, and it'll move back in front of the blue line. So whether or not they actually cross or not, it's hard to tell at this point, but they'll definitely get closer and then further apart and then closer and further apart. So a little bit abnormal looking at it. But at this stage here, and it is very early, it does look like it'll probably out-earn Spider-Man Homecoming, which means it'll out-earn Spider-Man v Superman because they earn around about the same kind of money. If you look at the international numbers for Spider-Man Far From Home, Disney is reporting an estimated $395 million right now. On Box Office Mojo, they're confirming around about $110 million of that. There's always a big gap between the so-called confirmed money and the money reported by the distributor, so nothing really abnormal there. But Box Office Mojo doesn't have any figures from anywhere other than China, Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea right now. But $395 million, that's what Disney is saying that it has right now. There is a more updated number I've got for China. So this $98 million from Box Office Mojo, they're saying it's from the 30th of June. This has got the July 8th figures, so July 8 hasn't finished yet, so these are partial numbers through Monday. And Spider-Man Far From Home, number 2 right now in China, $167 million right now. So pretty big amount of money, not as good as what it's got in the US market, but still shows that the MCU is very popular in China. Also got Toy Story 4 here. It's not really earning too much money anymore. It's in the number 6 position. And Aladdin has dropped out of here and might not be showing anymore in China at all. So they're the only two major large US films right now in China, Spider-Man Far From Home and Toy Story 4. So going forward, it does look like Spider-Man Far From Home will out-earn what Spider-Man Homecoming got. Normally I'd say you got to wait 8 days until you can get a good projection out there, but 8 days for this film will be a Tuesday. I don't think that's going to be very helpful. I think we have to wait until the second Friday to see what's actually going on with its box office. That's probably about 6 days' time until that officially gets reported. So quite a long wait to really put a good projection in to see what's going to happen. But I think it's realistic at this very early stage to say that it could probably get more than $1 billion. So Captain Marvel already got $1 billion for Disney this year. Endgame obviously got a lot more than $1 billion for it. This film could get over $1 billion. Aladdin I think is going to fall short. I think it's across the $900 million mark right now, but I don't think it'll get $1 billion. Frozen 2 is going to get $1 billion or more. The Lion King is going to get over $1 billion. The Star Wars film is going to get over $1 billion. So a ridiculous number of films that Disney has this year that are actually going to earn more than $1 billion in the box office. So as usual, we'll have to wait to see what the box office actually brings in. Is it going to get over $1 billion or is it going to collapse like Batman v Superman? Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.